So, some sets out. Now I'm going to set some more away in cell trays because I've got loads of them. These are Snowball. They're a white onion. And some of these are sprouting already. So I need to check these carefully because they've been in the box for a little while. But we're going to set some of these away. And these are going in the other bed, which you'll see when I show you the garden plan in a little while. So let's get these in. Really simple process. Multi-purpose, pretty standard, bit of perlite. As always, check the sets, make sure they're not mouldy or squishy. And literally you just screw them in, like that. Screw them in. This is really dry, this compost, so it will be getting a nice drink from below. I'll stick it in a tray. I'm growing a lot of onions this year because I do like my onions. And these are Snowball, and these are supposed to store quite well. So it'll be interesting to see how they develop. I don't know if this is the right time to sow them or the wrong time. We'll sort of set them away anyway. But we're gonna. I'll just take that tail off of that. I could probably sow these direct, but I do like to get them started in the greenhouse, so then if you get any failures you can see them before they go in the garden and you can select your best ones. These don't look too bad actually. Well, I'll say that, and that one's got a big dent in it. I've got quite a few of these. I'm only going to set one tray away, I think. Because I don't need all of them. But you never know with me. I might decide to do 2 trays. One or two squidgy ones in here, but not to worry. There you have it. That's how simple it is to start your onion sets in cells, guys. I'll stick them in a tray of water and they'll sit in there till they're shooting, and then I'll go out in the garden like the ones I've just done. So we're also today we're going to sow brassicas. I can't find my Aqualis seeds. I've got so many packets of seeds, I don't know where half of them are, to be honest. But they're not in my seed box, so they're going to be in a jiffy bag somewhere with all the others. So I'm going to sow what I've got. I'm going to do 10 Green Magic and 10 Marathon F1. Now these are old seeds, so I'm going to sow these now. It's a little bit of a germination test really. If they all come up and work, happy days. If not, then I know I need to use fresh seeds and go again. So I'm just going to pop these in as well today, and these will just go sit on a heat mat in the garage. So these are the Green Magic. I'm just putting one in each cell. These are 20 cell clear trays. Nice and easy to handle seeds. There we go, that's 10 of the Green Magic. Pop those back in there. And do exactly the same with the Marathon F1. I mean, say they're old seeds, it says so by 2027, but they've been open a year or so. I know brassica seeds are pretty good for holding their own, if you know what I mean, but we'll see what happens. And this compost is really dry. I'm going to give these a top water with a fine spray, and then I'll sit them in a water bath with a little bit of water and chuck them on the heat mat in the garage. So just a fine sprinkling, it doesn't need a lot, to be honest. This isn't sieved. It's just multi-purpose. They're quite big seeds. I don't think they really need a sieved compost. And these should be up hopefully in a week to 14 days, something like that. There we go, sowing done. That'll do for this week. I'm not in a rush to sow everything because it's still cold and still cold and still cold and still cold and freezing and horrible. Right guys, this is the garden plan for 2026. It looks pretty juvenile. I just knocked it up just to give me just an outlook of what I can achieve and what I can grow this year. There's been a few changes. Those of you that follow the channel understand the layout here. I'll show you a switch screen in a minute if you're not familiar. But I've basically got 6 beds. They're a metre square. This one's 1.2 in length, bed 6. So we've basically got the 6 beds, the small corner bed, which is only 80 by 60, and the carrot box, lots of pots and buckets. That's how we roll. If you're not familiar with it, looking in from the pathway from the garden this way, this is what it looks like. If I just spin this down, so you're looking in from this way here. You've got the 2 beds 1 and 2 here, beds 3 and 4 here, and bed 5 there, and the deep bed behind the washing line here, bed 6. Obviously the carrot box and the small corner bed over there. Greenhouse, this is where I put all the potatoes against the wall, and there'll be some potatoes the other side of this cold frame as well, because this polytunnel, well, you know what happens to them, they disappear in the wind. So yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what it looks like if you're not familiar. Obviously the gravelled area, I always have pots on it, depending on what I've got. I basically run out of space, so they end up going on the gravel. So let's get back to the plan as it is. So I'll give you a rundown of what we're growing. I won't be too in depth with it, but this is what we're going to try and do. So Brussels sprouts, again, they're going to go in a small corner bed. A Brendan F1 is the variety. I won't make the mistake that I did last year, which was to take the net off far too early. They started getting sprouts on, and the caterpillars just totally annihilated them, and I ended up losing them. So I won't be making that mistake this year. Calabrese, Marathon and Aquilese, not 100% sure yet which ones I'm going to grow. I've got both seeds. Marathon need a lot more room, Aquilese not so much room, so but they're going to be going in bed 3. Not been successful growing broccoli in the summer, only over winter, which I do very well, but I'm going to try and start them early and get them established before it gets too hot this year. So that may have been my mistake last year, leaving it a bit too late. So yeah, that's the broccoli. Tomatoes, not grown as many. They're going to be in baskets and in the greenhouse. Might put some in the back of bed 2 because it's a free space at the minute, but mainly they're going to be in pots and baskets.
Cucumbers, Mini Munch F1, fabulous last year. They'll be in the greenhouse, and I'll probably do a couple of ridge plants in the front of bed 2 because that's where I'll have the framework. Again, I grow too many cucumbers, but the Mini Munch, I simply can't get enough of them. They're lovely, and they've done really well for me last year. French beans, Cobra, they're going to go bed 1A where the framework is. Again, they always do very well for me, and if I've got any Blue Lake, I might pop some Blue Lake in as well. But yeah, they do very well. So that's the French beans. Potatoes, I've got some saved kestrels from last year. They're a second early, so they'll go in first. Just a couple of buckets. We don't eat a lot of second early potatoes. Main crops, I'll be concentrating on the main crops this year. I've got some saved Condor, and I think I've got some saved Manitou as well. They're all going to go in pots, wherever I can fit them really. Sweet potatoes, that's the big one for me this year. I'm dedicating the whole of bed 6 to sweet potatoes. We eat a lot of them, we love them, and I'm trying to grow my own slips. You might have seen that video. I started them, I think 2 weeks ago, might be 3, in the garage, in a tub, on a heat mat. Slips are quite expensive, so I thought I'd try and grow my own from organic potatoes. So yeah, they're going to be going in this bed, hopefully, if they work. Carrots, sweet candle, obviously again, will go into the carrot box. And I'll also do them in tubs and buckets. And I might even put a couple of rows in the back of bed 2, because as I said, this is a free half a bed. Chantenay type short carrots. So, but failing that, we'll put them in pots. Onions, got a lot of onions. Dedicating 2 beds to onions this year because we do eat a lot. I've got a lot of sets going in the greenhouse at the minute, and I've got some more to start. So I've got some snowball. They store really well, so they need to get in. I'll plant them in cells to get them going. So yeah, a lot of onions. Sweet corn, we're doing in 30 litre buckets this year because this bed 3 is normally dedicated to sweet corn, or is it 5? It's one of these 2, normally dedicated to sweet corn, but we don't eat a lot. And I've grown it successfully in 30 litre buckets before, many years ago, and it works quite well. 2 plants in the buckets, in a group of 3 pots over here on the gravel, they'll be fine. It's worked for me before. I've done the onions, haven't I? Lettuce we don't eat a lot again, so these will just be dotted around the garden wherever we can put them, and successfully sown as and when we need them. Really, they grow really quick, so there's no dedicated bed for lettuce as such, but we'll just interplant them, and we'll grow them in pots and troughs again as well, where we need them. Lettuces, leeks, should I say. Musselburgh again, we'll start these off in a pot and we'll just leave them outside all year. And when these onions come out in bed 5, the leeks will go in there, exactly the same as the ones I've got outside now. Always seems to work late season. Strawberries, basket, and in the Temu Greenstalk to get them off the ground. So we're going to hang these all over the place, wherever I can put them. I was going to put a structure up along this side border, but I do want some height with plants there, so I don't really want them hanging down. So that's still in the thought process of where we're going to hang these. But we'll make it work. We always make it work. So yeah, and I've got all the runners in a cold frame, so they're ready to go when they need to go. Spring onions, again, there's no dedicated space for spring onions. I'll just interplant these and put them in pots and containers. We don't eat a lot, but they'll be fine. Just wherever we stick them really, and I'll just multi-sow them every few weeks, as many as we need really. So, excuse me, that's the veggies really. There will be more. It might change. It probably will change. Flowers, we're doing Dahlia, Cosmos, Nasturtium, Marigold, and Nicotiana, all from seed. I do grow me flowers from seed every year. And Nicotiana, I grew tons of these last year, and I've literally ripped them out 2 weeks ago. They were still flowering. Absolutely fantastic plants for night scent, and just all year round, all season round colour. Absolutely brilliant. Marigolds for companion planting. These will be dotted around everywhere. Nasturtiums, I'm only doing one type. I'm doing a Princess of India. I've tried to grow this before and I didn't have a lot of success, but I really do like the colour of the flower. It's a deep red, and I want to put these in hanging baskets so they're hanging down, and should look quite nice if we can get them to grow. Cosmos, same as every year, all different types of cosmos, and this will just be stuck in wherever I can find a space for it. I love the stuff. And dahlias, I've got some save seed and I've got some new seed. I think it's called Yankee Doodle Dandy or something. Just mixed colours, so we'll dot that around, probably in the side border up by the pathway, I think, because this is more of a colourful border, whereas the border over this side is more your oranges, yellows, whites, that kind of colour, bronzes. So that should work. And Calibrachoas, I always buy these as plants. I'm not so sure you can grow these from seed, to be honest. I'm not sure you're allowed to. I think a lot of them are protected. But absolutely fantastic plants. I always buy them from the local nursery. They're about £1.50 each. And they spread and grow all season long, and they flower their hearts out. They're self-cleaning, no deadheading, nothing. They're absolutely amazing little plants. So we're getting a few of them dotted about as well, and then the wall plant on the garage, as we do every year. So that is pretty much all of the plan and what we're going to do. It's going to change, but things do change in gardening. It depends on the weather, it depends on lots of things really, how things are getting on. If things fail, something else goes in, you know, and we always get failures and obviously successes. So that's the plan, guys. Let me know what you think. Cramming a lot into 6 beds again, but we managed to get it to work every year, so why not this year? So there it is. There's going to be more stuff, probably more flowers as well, and I've probably forgotten something, but that's the plan, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll take it from there, and hopefully we'll all have a good season. So that's it. I don't want this video to get too long. I hope you like the update, the garden plan and all that kind of stuff. A little bit of sowing. Not much else to do today, but I don't want this video turning into an epic, as some of mine can, although the last two have been quite short. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go and chill out a bit, have a cup of tea, get these put on the heat mat in the garage next to the sweet potatoes, which I've just had a look at, and I do have one shoot on one of the potatoes, so all good so far. Anyway, guys, check out the end screens, hit the like button if you like the video, and consider subscribing. It just helps the channel out. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.